Peace and blessings, family.
Peace, everyone. This is Sunday Sitting with Sisters. I'm your girl, Dana Maisha, and I'm sitting here with Earth Mama Healing herself.
Peace, family. First of all, welcome to December.
Yes.
Do you know where December comes from, or the origins of it? Anybody? This will happen when you be around older people who like to learn, and then you learn along the way. So I heard December in the root of December. I think it's D-E-M-I, maybe the C, I'm not sure, or E or whatever, is something that has to do with the Greek for 10, like the decimal 10. And so the months are out of order. Mm-hmm. And so December is the 12th month, but really the root of the word is 10. So this should be the 10th month. But then they put other months in and they pushed it to the 12th month by the Greek calendar.
No,
I learned that from some people. Same thing, like October is the 8th month.
Oh, yeah.
But
okay.
It's the 10th month. So they put into it like Augustus. I guess July is for a man, like I can't remember the guy is for. And so they put him in there. Mm-hmm. So that started moving the calendar down. Mm-hmm. So October is the 10th month when it really is the 8th. And December is the 10th, even though it is the 12th month. So anyway, I don't know about y'all. When I was growing up, I learned about stuff like that. That's what I meant about you learning things, because you're not distracted by the cell phone, because we didn't have a cell phone.
Right.
So I was very grateful to be learning about just those little nuances. Makes you look at our calendar. Yeah. And I never even looked at stuff like that before, but that's why I love learning. I love learning. And so sometimes you gotta get back on your square of learning and not always reacting. Right. Sometimes I have to get tired of the bullshit, so it makes me react. But I got to stay on my square and stay focused and keep it going. How's it going for you, Dana? Black Friday was a success?
Black Friday, definitely. It was a success. I think that it was everything that we wanted to be. Yeah, it was really good. I think that the businesses did really well, which is what we always want. And the consumers got a chance to really see who's out there. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So that was really good. And we're all about just helping people navigate through that thing called commerce and customer relations, and being able to, it's one thing to get a customer, but to be able to retain them is something quite different. So I'm very excited. We opened up a new day, so it was a 2-day event this time. Oh. The workshops, the self-development, business development workshops were great. The networking aspect was great. We also added a session for cannabis, doing business in cannabis, and that was bigger than the other workshop. I mean, it was standing room only in there. So we're really excited about that, and we're excited about the future and about just all things business development, being Black in business, and we're excited.
So let me ask you this, because I'm going to be interviewing the sister around the cannabis.
I saw that.
I can't remember her name. God forgive
Tracy?
me. No, her name is not Tracy. Her
Tiffany.
name is Tiffany. Tiffany Sharp.
Tiffany Sharp, right.
So she's going to come on and talk about, I'll interview her on tomorrow night around what is cannabis and why. What do we need to know about it? Though I have my own mixed feelings just about the whole weed thing, period, because it's one thing, and this is why I like the beauty of this sister and others like her. Like, what's the brother's name? Malachi. Is that even though people may have their mixed feelings about it, it's good to know what's really going on.
It's good.
And what that really means, because I always feel like people have been going to jail behind this for years, and now that shit is legal. Are they going to get some money back, or they're going whatever? Listen, but they're breaking down. Somebody got to know the politics, the ins and outs, beyond our emotion. And so, with this whole and this cannabis, I'm still saying weed and ganja and bong and all that shit. But it's good to know what does that mean for our community. So I'm looking forward to having Sister Sharp come on and talk to us about that. Because what does that really mean? Because I think sometimes people forget, some people have trauma around weed.
I know, some people do have trauma around weed. And some people have had bad experiences because they were on weed. And then other people just love it. It's like a vitamin. But let me tell you, I want to say that what I learned in the workshop that we did, the cannabis, doing business with cannabis, is that there's so many avenues for investors to get in and to get on and to help create wealth. And so you don't have to smoke weed, you don't have to push weed, but it's also like the delivery services and then all of the other byproducts of it, the CBD, you know, that doesn't even have the THC in it and all of the healing properties. Like, it is so much stuff. So, you know, you don't have to be, I get that everybody is not a weed advocate and all that. I get that. But I think that when they watch your show tomorrow, I think that they should also have an open mind too, because it's more than just like smoking weed, rolling a joint or a blunt, whatever it is they do now. This is really a thing. This is a thing. And other people other than us are making billions. One of the ladies who has a dispensary or is part owner in a dispensary, guess how much she nets a month?
How much?
Notice I said net.
What?
Over $1 million a month. I'm like, because at first I was like, well, maybe she got it wrong. Maybe she meant a year.
And then I also think, should those places be unionized? Because when we talk about business and you making that kind of money. So here's the thing, y'all. I watch a lot of stuff, but I watch a lot of things, particularly from the time of the 50s, 60s, you know, like when unions and things, or in the 30s as well. Anything around unions and sometimes in gangs or mafioso or whatever you want to call it, and the merger of those two things and prohibition. And I think sometimes the greatest playbook to me is history. That's the greatest playbook for me. So we'll be thinking, because we're in 2019, that shit has changed. But America is built on something that is so solid. I'm going to be honest with you in terms of the tactics, that they don't change it up. So we'll be sitting there like, this is a different day, but they still running on the playbook from 1930. Matter of fact, from 1820, like, you know, they're still running on some stuff. So what business is it unionized? And are unions good? Because my mother belonged to a union and it was crap. I'm just going to be honest. They picketed it. They did not protect their workers. My mom worked at a convalescent hospital right on 24th and Florence. So I don't know. I think about some of these party lines and I don't know if they're really good for us. Like, I don't know if being a Democrat is good. I don't know if, you know, like the things that we think for black folks that are good, is it really?
And 100 years ago or 150 years ago, whenever we were able...
Like when Jimmy Hoffa was over the truck union or whatever.
Yeah, well, or I'm just thinking about how whenever we were actually Republican as a collective, you know.
No, I get that.
Yeah.
Most of us were.
And then I noticed though, a lot of black folks in the southern states, they still Republican.
That's deep.
Yeah, but I noticed that they don't have a lot of unemployment and
in the South,
not as much as we do.
Okay.
As in California.
You could be right. I'm not sure.
I'm not going to say that I'm 100% right. This is just my own observation, which you guys obviously know is limited. But yeah. And
I also think unemployment look different when you have family. That's like somebody saying our homeless in our state is down, but you're not counting the people that's sleeping on folks' couches and living in people's garages. So it could appear that we don't have homelessness here, but you really do.
Yeah.
People don't have their own stuff. It's about family, not like some kids.
Yeah, you're right.
That's all I'm saying. And I think, I think unemployment is always high for black people. Somebody said once that if white people have a cold, black people have the flu. And that makes so much sense because we know we're constantly being cut out of stuff. So even with the weed, we know that the weed or cannabis, see, even with that, cannabis, weed, what's the damn difference? The difference is culture. And the way we say, so when we're white people, we'll say cannabis. When we're black folks, we say weed.
We say, okay.
You know, so I'm only saying that to say we made a whole industry out of locking people up. But we know for some black people, that was an underground economy. So, you know, people pay their rent on selling weed.
Right.
Let's just be honest. And so then people figure out a way to make some money off of you.
Yeah.
And then here they come.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So I don't exactly know where we, like, what do we do with that? How do we really administer equity? Not equality. Because we did that back in 1960-something.
Right.
I'm talking about equity. And I love that whoever came up with that distinction is beautiful. Because we'll talk about integration and equality like it's interchangeable, but we know it's not.
Right.
It's like a play on words.
Right.
But equity means you get the share that's going to make you be equal to other people.
Right. So you might share. Yeah, you might have to stand on a box.
Yeah. and somebody else may not even need no damn box.
Right. No, exactly.
Because they're doing so well right on.
Right.
So I'm just saying, I think that is something we need to really talk about and adhere to. But I do watch us really struggle with those issues. So I'm really looking forward to the sister coming to talk about what's going on with the weed and cannabis. Sorry, I'm gonna have to include other people language into the language we think we need to know in order to compete with other groups. But anyhow, the elections in our city. What are you thinking about this, Dana?
Oh my God! You know what? I honestly, I just want to know. Now that I'm older and I pay more attention and stuff like that, I just want to know, how are the districts going to be different than they are right now with a new person in office? You get what I'm saying?
I get you.
I really do. And so I just start to begin to think about some of the things that we need in our communities, some of the things that we already have, but I think more needs to be poured into them because there's a lot of work out here. And I just want to know, how is it going to be different? How are our districts going to be different with different people in office? I mean, we know that the guard has to change, but is it going to change for the people?
Well, I also think that, actually, do you think it's possible for people to care about all the areas if they've been focused on one area?
I think that should be a minimal requirement to even run. I really do. I think that's the base requirement because, I feel like that should be the base. No, because I just feel like that should be the base requirement without question, to be able to govern from a holistic place and not just from just one base. Why that rhyme, John? I didn't even mean for it to rhyme.
Because you got skill like that. No, I'm just kidding. No. So the only reason why I asked, we're going to get into some other stuff. I just got to bounce this off the wall with somebody that I have a lot of respect for. So I've been starting to do these interviews. First, I started with the people that I knew that was running, right? In the district that I'm in the most, which is 8.
Okay.
But then I also looked at District 2. And District 2 is Del Paso Heights. So that's probably the second place I spent a lot of time in. So that's Alan Warren, Sean Lolo E. He owns a slew of, he owns 2 supermarkets in what was Food Deserts in Del Paso Heights.
Okay.
And then Ramona Landeros. So the 3 I interview all 3 of them. And Alan Warren is our councilman now for that District 2. And it was very interesting. I love seeing races where people are running and they're not contested. So I think it's great. Whether if you're going to win or not, I think nobody should be running for an office when nobody's running against them.
Right.
That is really bad. And even if the person's doing a really good job, they still should have somebody.
Right.
Because it's a democracy, y'all. It's just not, it's supposed to be a democracy. Then District 4 is where Steve Hansen is, who's the city council for District 4. And then Katie Venezuela is her name. And I'm going to be interviewing her next week, I believe, or the week before next. Sorry, I can't remember the dates. So with her area, and so that's good. There's 2 other people, but they haven't been qualified yet. There's 2 Jameses.
So now what does that mean? Because I see that. What does that mean, they haven't been qualified?
Well, they filed, but their stuff probably have not been approved. Like, you have to qualify. They have so many signatures and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, that. And then District 6 is where we have Eric, I think it's Guerrera, who was the city council member in District 6. But then also Eric Frame. I interviewed him last week. Young man, absolutely brilliant, independent party. And he used to be the Green Party, and which is pretty interesting, which made me think I'm going to be interviewing over the next couple of weeks political parties. Somebody from the Democratic Party. And I'm only asking basically 3 questions. Who is your party? And what's your origins? Why y'all get started? 2, what do y'all do? Like, what's your platform? And 3 is, why should people join your party? That's it. I don't want to know
but that's
else.
A lot. That's a lot. Yeah.
I don't want to know. So I just think we need to know about the other parties there.
Right.
And then I'm going to do the Republicans, the Democrats, the Green Party, the Libertarian Party, and then I think there's another one. I can't remember what it is, but there's a lot of parties, but I'm going to interview at least 5 of them so that we can hear about these other groups. It's not about agreeing with them or they're your party, but I think the left should know what the right is doing.
Yeah.
And I think we get lost. And I think the reason why so many of us are lost in the Democratic Party is because we don't do that.
Right. And then we just kind of follow suit.
Yeah.
We follow tradition. Oh, my mom and dad was a Democrat, so I'm a Democrat.
Yeah.
Their parents were Democrats, so
we don't read the playbook, which is history. What have they done for us historically?
Right. And
because I'm seeing a lot of black folks going to other places. But is there a seat for them at the black table? But I'm gonna come back to that. Okay. So that's who we got. We got Waverly Hampton the third, and he's a brother too, who's running in District 6. And then the guy Kevin Roney is running as well. And I think he's with the Green Party. Okay. So all of them are running, and then of course District 8.
District 8 is popping. It's more. They got more people.
It is. They have right now they got the same amount as District 6 because this person. I don't know what supplemental issue means, so I don't know what that means. So I can't really do that. And plus, I can't find this guy on nothing. But anyway, so Daphne Harris is running. Les Simmons is running. Mai Vang is running. And Ronald Bell is running. So I interviewed Ron, Mai, and Les. But Delphine, I reached out for her. I haven't heard nothing back from her yet, but it's okay. It's still early. And then the Santiago guy didn't say because it's a supplemental issue, so I don't know what that means. So I think politically we need to look at these people. And then the mayor's race. Sorry, y'all. So, of course, Darrell Steinberg, who is the mayor now, is running again. And then there's a Mac. What is this?
Ortega,
thank you, girl. I'm like, ooh. And then
Jamar. Either Ortega or Ortega.
All right. Ortega sounds better. It sounds like the taco thing. I'm trying to be funny. I'm trying to remember that.
No.
I'm trying to listen to words that can help me understand pronunciations.
Yeah.
And then Jamar Jefferson. Even though he's not up here yet, so he isn't qualified yet. But to me, this looks good. I think when you have elections going on, you should know who's running,
right?
And look them up.
And you should know their platform. You should know what are their plans, what are their intentions, what are your goals for the first 6 months in office, what are your goals for the next 12 months in office, what's happening now, and how are you going to make it different? I think it's really important. When I hear people talk, for me as a voter and a critical thinker, I want to know what you're going to do presently and what are your short-term goals. That's important because that's what voters want to know, right? I
also think it shows you the arrogance sometimes of people when they think that you're not going to do that. And historically with black people, we haven't always been the group who really asks for anything. I was talking with a queen doctor that I really respect here in town, and she was saying when Obama was in office, black people, we got him there, but we didn't have an ask. We're always running to the fight, but we never do any preparations in the acts and what we're going to follow through once we ask you for something. We don't do that part, and that's true.
Right.
We'll be like, he didn't do this, he didn't do that, but we didn't ask either.
I think something that we're really good at doing, and Oprah Winfrey brought this to my attention, or made me think about it in a deeper way. Back in Ferguson, when how everybody was so organized and people were protesting all over and stuff like that, and we know that traditionally we will get up for that, right? But and someone was asking Oprah, okay, what do you think about all of these people organizing? And she was like, that's nice, but what do you want? What are you asking for? And I thought that was such a dope and profound question, because do we really get together and figure out these are the 10 things that we want?
That's real talk.
And really check off the list and really figure out who can get or what team or what task force needs to be put together in order to accomplish each task, because it's more than, we got to do more than go to the street, although it is it does rally you up, pump you up and all that, but it does need to be followed through.
Yeah, well, so again, history is the best playbook. It's the best playbook. So over the last couple of days, because I've been trying to get my care on and all that stuff, I've been watching
you've been trying to get your care on?
Oh, because I've been dehydrated and just tired.
Okay,
and,
self-care.
Self-care, yeah.
Okay.
But, you're right. So, with that being said, it made me, so I like to watch a lot. I'm from the East Coast. I grew up around a lot of, people say they grew up around a lot of different groups, but they don't learn shit from the groups. So ain't nothing wrong with black. Our neighbors, we grew up in a diverse neighborhood, but the other groups is moving, advancing, and your ass is still just amongst them, but you ain't advanced. But anyway, so because I grew up on the East Coast, grew up around a lot of Italians, Irish people, Jewish people, but they had their own neighborhoods. We didn't live next door to each other necessarily.
Yeah, that's true.
But I did learn a lot about how they move. So when you talk about unions or the mobsters or whatever, there's all of these links between all of those things, and we don't talk about what the links are.
Okay.
So, for instance, if the case in point, I find it's interesting to be coming up now, maybe because there's a presidential election coming up, but they talked about when Kennedy got into office, it really was the mobsters of that day who got him into office because they were friends with his dad. Like, they was his peoples. But then when he got in there, he put his brother, Bobby, the top cop of the country, and he went after the very people who got him in office, which were the mobsters. And I don't know, they could be Irish mobsters, it could be Italian they could be Jewish mobsters. I've been learning a lot about that. But anyway, but then they're saying that was one of the reasons why Kennedy was killed and Bobby was killed for running. Because they were trying to break up the mobsters' hold on unions and you know, the working place. They had a straight pecking order. And I think sometimes as black folks, we'll be talking about this pecking order, but we don't have it. It's kind of like when we say, I speak for all black people, and you only know the ones in your neighborhood.
Yeah.
You don't go
or you only know the ones that think like you.
That's what she just said.
Yeah, we can't.
So all I'm saying is I've been looking at that kind of stuff and feeling like, wow, what can I possibly learn from history? I'm not one of those people, thank God, who think it's all about right now. Because if you think it's all about right now, you will soon be left. Because right now turns into yesterday, even in the time, in the moment. As soon as you said it, it was yesterday.
Yeah, it was yesterday. I tend to, I think I do look back on the past a lot, but I definitely think about the future.
But the future can't exist without the past.
That's true.
But I agree with you.
But I think that for me, I have to stay cognizant of the future. If not, I'll get like, you know, I'm tired. I don't feel like that.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, it's like, I'm tired. I don't feel like that. I just want to be quiet. It's like, no, D, you can't be quiet because this, and this needs to happen. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. But I looked at all that. So when I look at, that's what I'm saying. For me, when I say history is so important, it's because nothing on the planet really ever changes. Even with all the technology, we still have the same small groups owning everything. So even though we have all of this technology, there's still only certain groups who own everything.
Do you think that we're going to tap in, and as a group, do you think that we're going to tap in and really be able to compete?
Never as a group. Let me tell you why I say never as a group. Because black folks aren't wired like that. I think that's the biggest misconception, is that we are this group. You know what I mean? Even when you look at the Asians, and we can just say, oh, all the Asians. But even in the Asian world, they still have different groups. Right. And then that breaks down to different cultures, and then different tribes, and then different, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I feel like, I don't think that's going to ever happen as a group. I think once I start to understand that black folks don't move like that necessarily, unless it's a travesty, then we're forced to do it. Like somebody killed your son and the person wasn't black, now we're upset. But when somebody killed your son and they are black people are like, well, that's a part of being black. You know, we kill each other. You know, it feels like we're saying it like that. I don't even say it like that, but that's how it feels, you know.
Yeah, I always feel like the same urgency that we respond to certain things, which it is required, but it's also required for other things too. Things that we really can control.
Yeah. No. I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying, when you think about, again, history. Again, history is the playbook. And so I know one of the things I know from the playbook, good morning, Sister Tina. I know that when something happens in our community and we get upset about it, all you have to do is do what? Wait us out. Yeah. Act like you don't see us. And in a couple of months,
we'll die off.
We'll be on to the next urgency, which could be ain't no more carrots in the store. I don't know. We'll be on to the next thing.
Did you say ain't no more carrots in the store?
Because I don't know what else to really say about that. Because it's so disappointing in a way. You know what I mean? Like, we're so reactionary, and it feels very disappointing. So that's what I mean when I say that. But I think in terms of the voting, we should be asking people, what is the ask? What are we willing to do? I personally, myself, don't think it's possible for people to be balanced if they have not been balanced. Thank you so much. Just come on in. You're great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Needing water, y'all. I've been dehydrated, so I got to get my water in.
Thank you.
And so I just really think it's not possible. I also am concerned. I think usually when you run for things, there's a pecking order. You know, and so what have you? You have a history of collaborating not with people who think like you, with people who may be your adversary. And I don't mean in the you know, because, you know, some of us get this thing where, yes, sir, no, sir, ma'am. We got those fake mannerisms now.
Yeah.
But we don't have the work behind what do you do.
The true diplomacy.
Right.
The true diplomacy.
Right.
And the true diplomacy is dealing with people who totally oppose your views.
Right.
But you guys still have to come to a common ground. That takes work.
Yeah. And I pray, this is my honest to God truth. That's why I'm backing up and doing some things a little differently. I pray that the people will really rise up, not on the urgency, but just like this year in elections, really think about who you're voting for. And I'm going to say this, the people who say voting don't work, get the hell away from them. Because these are the same people who don't show up for anything, who don't show up for the PTA meetings, who don't show up, you know, just to walk kids across the street, who don't make sure our elders are taken care of, who don't do any of those things. So you can't tell me nothing about voting. And then when some shit, then when some things come down the pipe like some money, then you want us to go to bat for you, but you don't believe voting works. So how do you get the benefit of something when you think, you know, nothing works? Then why are you coming to me?
Right. Also, too, just taking time to understand the process. Understand the process, how things work. Even because I mean, you know, bro, we hear a lot of people saying, "Oh, I don't, you know, I'm not voting because blah 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 blah." Yeah, but you don't even know the issues of voting. If nothing else, if your person doesn't get in, you can learn the issues. You can see what's on the ballot, what's being contended with, what things are coming up. You gotta get out there and just work it.
Internet, look it up, read it. Like what? I don't.
You don't even have to read it. You could go do something on YouTube and watch it.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, I think that's a real key thing in this voting here. And I'm not going to beat the voting thing to death. I just want our community to do a little bit more than just do talking points that you heard somebody else say. I want people to vote not because their homeboy is running. I want them to run because their homeboy is supposed to deliver on some shit. And if you don't deliver on it, now I'm gonna go back to the mafioso. The people knew that if you didn't do certain things, there were consequences. Now the nicest consequence could be your ass being voted out of office, but they had some deadly consequences as well. So I'm saying, thank God we don't live quite in that era. That's how I know that we really ain't in the roughest era ever. We're in the softest era ever, because all you got to do is walk your ass to the voting poll and vote. That's all you have to do. You don't have to worry about somebody telling you can't vote and they're going to beat your family up, fire you from your job. Yeah. We don't even live in those eras.
Right. We don't even know nothing about that.
Yeah, we don't know nothing about that. Right. But all you have to do is go vote. And then the other part is civic engagement.
All right.
Civic engagement.
Yes. And that's something, bro, I love. Bro, when is you going to do? Can you? Okay. I'm not trying to add anything to your plate.
Go ahead. What you need?
But I really would love the coming of age thing.
What it means to be 18?
Yeah. Can you do like a little, we need a round table or something, because I got some 18-year-olds. They need to, yeah.
We can work on that. Okay. I just know that, and then this is what I do though. This is another thing that I really learned. This is why I think sometimes as a group, there's nothing sometimes we can really do as a group, because all of us don't belong to the same group. One of my attractions to watching things like that and things that are cultural and historical is I like the blending of elders, seasoned people, and young people, and the babies. And in our culture, people got us so fragmented, because the truth of the matter, what do you do with obsolete form equipment? Like, what do you do with it? What do you do with the evidence of a crime that you committed? You want them to be divided, because you really want them to just go away now, because you know you totally owe them. Yeah. And so I don't know why we don't get that as a people. So we'll be sitting up here like, well, I don't know. In my era, we're different. You know that you eat, you sleep, and you need to breathe air. That's what you need to do. But my thing is, because you don't know the playbook, the enemy's going to win automatically. Because they know that all you got to do is wait you out and you be on to the same thing. They know we all have, you can't stay on one thing long. Yeah. They know that we can't do that. Yeah. We got all these black girls and women missing, and we act like they the least value of all of us, and they're the ones that's going to sustain us being able to be on the planet. Yeah. But if they gone, you're gone. So we don't even get that as a concept. Yeah. And so while I'm saying that, Dana, how important is culture to black people, and let me preface this before I get you to answer it. This is the second time I'm going to an event where they were celebrating community diversity. And this happened to be in District 8. You go to District 8. So District 8 is running this. Daphne Harris, black woman. Les Simmons, black man. Mai Vang is Hmong.
I was gonna say Asian. I'm gonna give her
Hmong because some people don't like Asian, but it's okay. If she Hmong, if I know
no,
the group,
well, she literally said she was. Yeah.
But if I know the group, I like to respect people to the best of my ability. I think we say it's like we pick people. We'll say black, but somebody may be a straight African. They don't want to be black because in Africa you ain't black. You're African. Your culture. You know that?
I met a white African yesterday.
Yeah, there's no such thing.
Well, there's
no such thing because they're invaders. Yeah. They're invaders. It's going to just keep this out. And then we have Ronald Bell, who is a black man. So we have 3 black people and 1 Asian who is Hmong. I'll do like that. So keep that in mind. This is District 8. So I go to this event. This is the second time I go to an event. Every culture is doing their cultural dances and cultural traditions, whatever. So you have young people doing their thing, Hawaiian people doing their thing, Latinos are doing their thing. And when you get to the black people, we are doing spoken word. And of course, what else we do very well?
Dance and sing.
Music. So in the drum line, which anybody could do spoken word and anybody could do drum line. But all the other cultures were doing things specifically to their culture. All right. So how important is it that you think of the lack of culture, identified culture? How does that impact black people?
I think that...
y'all out there respond too.
I feel like it's almost kind of like... And forgive me, y'all, I don't want to be so dramatic, but it just means a lot to me. I feel like it almost invalidates us. Almost. Because it's like, we know that everybody has things specific to their culture, but the fact that we don't tie in or tap in, haven't learned, haven't been taught, or don't hold dear, or don't keep up the traditions and the practices is kind of sad. And that the fact that we don't teach it to our children.
Well, why don't we have it?
I don't know. So can I tell you my truth? Well, this is my truth.
Always tell me your truth.
But I don't know if this is the answer. Okay. Put it like that. But I feel like we, as a collective, and this is a gross generalization, but we spend the energy we should spend in maintaining our culture. I feel like we put into assimilating into someone else's. I really do.
Okay. No,
I really
do. That's not a far stretch. I don't think it's.
Well, I don't know if it's the answer. That's just how I feel.
I got you. Yeah. So let me just say this, and I'm right there with you, Dana. White African rapper responds, no such thing. Hey, mama, you know what I'm talking about. Come on. You can't have kittens in the oven and say they muffins. We know that kittens don't come from the,
And she was so proud.
Yeah, she was. So that's because that was her. That's like people say, I can say nigger. I can say nigger. Like, it's like that. But anyway, let me get back to where I am. Lord Jesus. I'm trying to get my shit together, y'all.
Okay, me too.
Y'all, I can be a mess. I've been having a lot of Richard Pryor Red Fox moments.
I love Richard Pryor.
So I love him too. I got back. Okay, so listen. Let me just say this.
Okay.
I think for me, with the lack of culture as it pertains to African Americans in particular, I can almost say Africans sometimes to a degree.
Yeah.
Because they would wear a suit and tie with a a turtleneck with a vest. Like that, you know what I mean? That's like that's like being British. But I think in terms of what happened, it's cute, but it's not that shit being like a 90-degree weather. That don't make no damn sense. But anyway, so I think it takes us right back to the time of the enslavement. Because that's when we were forced. The word here is forced. That's why I say enslavement. I don't say slavery. Enslavement means that something was encapsulated, if you will. But being stripped of all of your culture can tell you why we have 4 black people running for city council, 1 Asian sister that's Hmong, and the Hmong culture was very vivid and valid, and I'm not even hating on it.
No, we can't hate on it.
But we gotta have all these black people running for a city council in this area, and none of their cultures. I think all of these people who are running are African American. Some of them are. I mean, I'm just saying. So I did not see culture reflective, and you can't be just black for me because my black means something. I was the only person in there yesterday dressed in full African garb like I do every day.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the other groups of people walked up to me. One lady walked up and was like, "Oh my God, your energy, your aura. Oh my, I'm come say hello to you, whatever." Other people always comment on what I have on, like how beautiful it is, or because they know that we're very powerful. But the rest of us is sitting up in there looking like what we think America is, and really we looking like the anti-America because everybody else is holding on to their culture because they could.
Yeah.
We couldn't. But I must say this, there is almost no excuse for this.
Yeah.
Because you could look on the internet and figure out how to be a thug. Ooh. You should be able to look on the internet and figure out how to be a true culturalist or whatever it is you want to be. There's almost, that excuse shit is running out. I'm just going to be honest.
I hear you.
Because I'm African American to the core. I'm not mad about that. But I know I'm an African. I know my history. Yeah. And my thing is, I'm going back. I'm saying koffering. Like I'm going back and getting it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I also get to see how differently I'm treated, how well respected I'm treated when I show up as my authentic self.
Yeah.
Nobody respects a Negro. Nobody.
You know, Ro, you're right about that. You're right. Yeah, you're right about that.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Something to think about. Thoughts, family. Thoughts out there. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
You know.
Wow.
I'm just saying. So that's just something to think about. And the impact of us, the lack of us having culture, to me, I think is really wiping us out. And it impacts our children when they can't show up and be themselves in class. And then they feel kind of embarrassed when they're watching other people talk about how proud they are and how they make moule and which is great. Because, and our kids talking about, they think they talking about greens. They think macaroni and cheese is...
Yeah, or somebody's talking about they making pancit and like, I have some fried chicken. I know.
Yeah,
it doesn't even, don't even go, Well, Tina says, trying to assimilate and not being your true self, that's what's happening in my opinion. Okay, so, and then, thanks, Queen. And then Maria says, to my queens on this day of rest and celebration, the new generation does not follow tradition and instruction and does not care for their elders. Girl, done broke up.
Okay, you see, okay, instruction is does not care for their elders like they should. One love. Ia Ishapoli. I always mess the name up. Sorry. Queen Mother, I'm so sorry. I think she said at the end, that's like, I think that's either her name or a saying. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me, sis.
Please.
But you're absolutely correct. And that's what I'm getting at. But I agree with you wholeheartedly, Queen Mother. I swear I do. But the other thing that I really begin to understand, some of that, their lack of, has to do with the generations before. And I say that because I have nieces and nephews who are millennials and who are, what's after millennial? I don't know what's after millennial. I don't know what that means. So anyway, I'm saying that to say that they have a lot of that because they grew up with the old traditions, the old culture. Like I'm from the old culture.
Yeah.
I'm a traditionalist. I almost should be in a society that's about elders because I love my elders and my ancestors. Because they sacrificed so hard. So I can't erase my attachment to them because I am them. And I think a lot of our kids are like that because we set the tone. Like when we say stuff like, well, they're young and they're just doing, no. Other groups don't let their kids do that.
Right. And other groups they actually go to a school that teaches them their culture.
One group has been here less than...
Like Japanese go to school on Saturday.
But the mom kids, some of them have their own schools inside our school system.
Yeah. Yes. And that
they've been here
sense.
Less than, how many years they've been here? No disrespect. How many years they've been here? Like, what?
I'm gonna tell
1980? I can't remember, but
it's only been that. It's just that.
I know it hasn't been long, and they figured out because culture is important.
Yeah,
that's all I'm trying to say.
Culture is what it's what holds you apart. It's what validates you as a is race the right word?
I'm saying culture only because there's really supposedly, God forgive me. I'm fighting, y'all. I'm fighting. No, but there's supposed to be only one human race.
I knew you were
going to say
that.
And from that, all these other races or so-called races, really they're mutations, but that's a whole other story. People came from that one thing. No, for real.
No,
it's kind of you don't make a copy of an original and say it's an original. You say it's a copy.
Right. You're right.
So, anyhow, no disrespect. I'm just saying that but when the original thinks it's a carbon, that's when you have a problem. And I don't know how we can have. Oh, I want to read what you got. What you got? Go ahead.
I'm so sorry.
No. You say, "Oh, I want to hear it."
No, girl. Why did this piece, Michelle? Why did this
queen mother from Philly? Go ahead.
Why did this queen say? But doesn't it feel like we're making things up as we go along? That rang so true to my chest.
I agree.
We have yet to define what is our culture for our African descendant selves in the context of 400 years of America. Now, where's we need the fan.
I know, so I'll bring the fans.
Thank you, because I think that's true. I think we are making it up as we go along.
I don't mind you making it up. Let me just clarify for me. If you're doing it in the context of liberation to our true African ancestors, for me, it's all about going back to those people who were enslaved, who never got any justice, and who are constantly being erased by the descendants of the people who were enslaved and the descendants of those people who were enslaved. Does that make sense? So the descendants of the so-called slave masters' children are fighting hard as hell to erase us. And the descendants of the people who weren't enslaved are continuing to help them to erase our ancestors.
Yeah.
So for me, with that content in mind, my thing is like everything on this planet was made up.
Yeah.
Everything on the planet.
Yeah.
And somebody told me once, and I'll never forget this. That's why I'm so happy that I grew up in a time where black folks were like sharing and we studied together, we ate together, dinner at the table. Yeah. I'm so grateful for those moments. I'm so grateful for being able to cook with who are now ancestors, to cook with them, to watch black people in the living room talking about the politics. I'm so glad I was present, even though I was supposed to be in the room for some of those things.
No, you just sit down and be quiet and listen.
There is something about seeing that was so liberating and impactful for me.
Yeah.
That as I start to and continue to pull our culture back together, there's nothing wrong with creating things, but you cannot create things that would destroy, demise, and make us feel like we are the latest carbon out of the original, because I'm an original, I'm not a carbon.
Right. You can feel it.
I'm not a mutation.
Yeah,
my ancestors show up on my ass all the time. Peace, Sister LaDonna. My ancestors show up on me all the time. Even when I attempt to do some shit that may not be right. I had what's called, some people call it immediate karma. I say it's my ancestors making me hit the wall and stop.
That self-accusing spirit. That's why I can't do nothing that's wrong. I'm not saying I don't do wrong things. I'm saying, but I definitely am not going to wrong you or wrong another person. Because I just can't. It's not that, my spirit won't allow me to. I have to do what's right.
Right. No,
I have to do what's right.
No, you're right. I just look at that stuff and be like, man. You know, like when I was dehydrated and I had to be in the hospital on and hooked up to some shit to get I think that was my ancestors saying, I need you to slow your ass down. What are you doing?
Was that when I was texting you about this man's wife?
Yeah, and I couldn't even. I was sitting in there like, I was in there like, hey, good, because you're not.
Oh.
But that was the ancestors saying, sit your ass down.
Yeah.
And this is deep. Sometimes you'll get messages from just folks, like I was getting ready to argue with somebody, and my dear sister came on and was like, don't be arguing with people, delete their ass next. And then another queen came on, April, and said that part. Right. So I erased it. I was like, yeah, I can't be up in here fighting all these things.
Well, also too, Queen, you are Earth Mama healing. Yeah. So you can some things. I mean, sometimes to be able to get down and grimy, it definitely is.
Yeah, I can't be there. I think I.
But you can't. Yeah, no.
Then I got to read, and then reading was all of that. Thank you, our Queen Mother Tamer in Vegas, who basically did my reading, and it was right on the money. And part of me knew I was out of balance. But sometimes when you be in the middle of the fight, you be feeling like you gotta continue fighting.
Yeah, then you don't want to punk out. But it's like,
I just was like, somebody, where the warriors at?
Yeah,
because I grew up in a time where when I was like in the 80s and 90s, for me, I was under a lot of very powerful and active women. Some of who are not here anymore. That's a whole other story, because we do wear a person out. We will wear you out. That's why I wouldn't want to leave people for real, because you be up there, you turn around and you look around, all the soldiers gone because dinner time, or You know, we come up with all kinds of excuses.
Or because I'm tired, I got a headache, or this happened.
So, but I got a reminder from the universe, from the ancestors, from all that is good, that just stay in your lane, do what you do, and don't worry about that other shit. And I needed to know that.
And tell your truth.
Yeah. Okay, right on. You see Sister Maria's comments?
Let me see. Okay, no, that's okay. So, Grand Rising, Queen LaDonna. Okay, Maria says, the ashe is in the food brought over and ancestors whose shoulders we stand.
Right on.
Women is also the ashe, for we give birth to the world.
Right on. Right on. I share that. Right on. I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
So let me ask y'all this. What women, when you were growing up, that you seen that totally impacted your life, and what did they do that had such an impact?
I'm going to say, other than my mom, because my mom is one of those ones. Peace and blessings to her, Gloria Jean.
Right on, say her name.
Julia, and I can't remember her last name, but we used to call her Aang B. Aang B, in the middle of the hood. Aang B, this woman could have just, she could have not been, she didn't have to do what she was doing, but she did it, and she impacted my life in such a way because she was so consistent. She was diligent, she was at the school board. She was advocating for children, and also too, she held us accountable. She held us accountable. You was wrong. If you was wrong, you was wrong as two left shoes, and she let you know. She set a standard. And she did that for the whole hood. I'm from Hunters Point. And I think everybody in Hunters Point in San Francisco know Aang B.
Wow.
So Julia Middleton, that was her name. But we used to call her Aang B, so I forgot her real name.
Wow.
She's one.
Because I think part of it that we got to share them. I find that I do that a lot. I feel like I do that a lot with my girls. Because they'll be asking me like, how did you so? I said, "Ooh, I had Miss Ballard," or I just start calling out names to people. I've seen folks. I'll never forget my mother was the same way. My mom, May Wilkins, love my mom.
Okay, peace.
So she definitely was one. I watched this woman stand on her own, but still was taking people in, feeding people, doing all like we barely got enough out of themselves. But she that's just how that's just how she was. But another person for me was watching people like. I have to say Catherine Hall. I have to say Miss Callie Corning. I have to say Miss Ida Sonor. Damn, I could just go down a list. So many of these women who basically, was in that fight. And I remember one distinct memory when we had those riots in L.A. in the early 90s when Rodney King thing happened. And at the time I was working for the Birthing Project. It had to be the early 90s. And I watched a group of women come together and was like, we got to make sure that women and children in LA is getting fed, and moms had, they may need some milk for their babies. And, they was on it. So we went to the Capitol for some stuff. I don't know what the hell happened at the Capitol, but all I know is that we had rented a van, and because I just got my driver's license. It's definitely the early 90s. And I drove with them with a ton of food, water supplies, and everything. And we went into LA because Catherine was from LA. Mom was from LA. So I remember that distinctly. I remember that same thing happening in New Orleans when, I was sitting in front of my screen crying because I seen a pregnant black woman jump out of a window to go get help. This shit was on the news, and I was like, oh my God. So,
oh my God.
I'm sitting there
was
crying.
She okay?
I'm sitting in there crying. Yeah, and she left her little 5-year-old up there because she couldn't take him. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I'm sitting there crying like, oh my God, I should do something. And in that moment, Catherine called, was like, I'm talking to her crying, and she hung up. She said, I'm calling right back. She called me back from there, pack your bags, we going to New Orleans. And I was like, what? And I just shut my whole desk down. Okay. So for me, I come from women who did things, not who talked, not who marched and didn't do shit. People who really.
So you from the follow up?
From the follow up. I'm from the warriors that be like, look, something's going on, get on it. And even though sometimes I remember going into crack houses, pulling out pregnant women with Miss Catherine. So I know that part of her.
Right. So
you know what I mean? Which I was scared to death because I think I was like maybe in my early 20s, and she was like, "Come on, we going in here." So
I know.
Like, out of here.
I know. Yeah, I was scared.
I was myself, your ass is crazy.
Yeah. Let me tell you. So Maria says, my mother and sister Riley showed me how to be a woman, wife, and prayer warrior. I know.
Right on. That's a good title for a book.
I know. Yes, woman, I know that's and right.
Warrior. I love that. Prayer warrior.
Oh,
on top of
wow.
It.
To be able to tap in, that's dope. Okay, so LaDonna, Peace Queen, she says, we grew up kind of sheltered. We have my mama and 2 aunties. I learned the power of sisterhood from them. Right Outside of that, I looked up to Debbie Allen.
That was my fame, girl.
Okay.
Sorry, you just made me get the fame.
Okay.
Yes.
And with that thing she had, that was like
you're gonna work and sweat.
Right. That wisdom she gave those kids on Fame touched me too.
Yeah, right on. You right on.
Oh my God. Debbie Allen was just fierce. Yeah, she was.
I love when she would do the fierce thing. Right on. Okay. I just think it's really important. So when asking that question, y'all, so roll with me for a minute. How many of them really administer self-care to themselves? How many of them role model self-care? Because I'm going to be honest, not a lot of them did. Because they worked and worked and worked until they like fell out. That's why so many people died young. My mom died when she was 51. Her mom died when she was 51.
My mom died when she was, well, she had an aneurysm when she was 60 and she died when she was 64.
See what I'm saying? So I get the fierce warrior. I really do. But it's like self-care without judgment. So to me, it's never a judgment. It's an observation because I keep saying that history is the greatest playbook for me. And so I look at how the women loved, what food they ate, you know, how they interacted with people, how people interacted with them, how they allowed people. This is why I get the cuss out because I don't want people to be talking to me like that. I'll be like, who the fuck? Because I think for me, that's that trigger.
Yeah.
That's that trigger. Like, y'all ain't gonna be treating me like shit.
Yeah.
Like,
oh my God. Yeah.
But that's I know for me that's a trigger and I have to work on that. Cause I'm coming up on 51. I'm 48, but I know women in my family, they sometimes they time is shorter because they basically are taking care of the world, but the world is not taking care of them. So that to me is important.
So, and that's funny that you bring that up because that's something too that I'm working on too. Self-care. Like that is really, that's for real a thing. And me time. Me time is really a thing. So that's something that I'm working on and that's important. Because you can't be walking around giving stuff from an empty vessel. You know what I mean? Because you're not even giving your whole self. You have doing this, have doing that. And why? You don't need to. And being able to say no. Why no? N-O. Do you say no more than you say yes, or you say yes more?
I probably say yes more.
Yeah, me too, definitely.
I'm working on that.
Because when I say no, I don't. I mean, this is sick, y'all, but I'm gonna tell y'all the truth. When I say no, why do I feel bad?
Yeah, because that's that part of you that feel like you're supposed to be saying yes.
But anyway,
you know where I get a lot of my self care from? This is what I got to being with my great nieces and nephews. They take all the worry, just be like,
I know, yeah, because they're dope.
Yeah, especially the baby. Oh. He just do something, I'll be like, he sit my ass down. Like, he makes me sit down.
Yeah.
I go because I'm really good at putting him to sleep. And when I put him to sleep, I really put myself to sleep.
Yeah.
But he just has a way of like looking up at me like,
thank you.
Because he loves Patti LaBelle. You are my friend. He loves that song. Really? I put that on. He's out. That's it. He's out for the count.
Okay.
And so for me, part of my self-care is being in that energy. Because it makes me slow down. And it makes me have, like, I just get really docile. Like, I mean, just kind of...
Yeah, that's babies, good. And that's okay to be like that sometimes. Yeah.
But I think they came from the place that our elders are now in, for me. Like, they come from the other side, so they're not polluted yet.
No, yeah, they're not tainted. They're not. They're uninhibited. Yeah. And they don't have those boundaries that we set for ourselves. So it is a joy to watch them. You're right about that.
That's real talk. Yeah. That's real talk. So that was the power of woman. I'm gonna tell you that. That's what's up. Let me ask you this. So this is for all y'all out there. What is ADOS? American Descendants of Slavery, and why are they here now? And what is that?
So, is that something, Chris Largison is doing something with ADOS, right? I'm asking you because I'm trying to figure out, is this the right thing? Okay.
It's the same thing.
Oh, okay. That's why I'm trying
to.
No, I know, but I was trying to figure out if that's the thing. Okay.
Do you know what it is?
Not really.
Yeah.
Not really. Let me be honest. Not really. I know the call letters, but I don't really know what it is that they do.
Anybody out there know about ADOS and why now? And I'm only saying that because I am not a descendant of an American slave. I am a descendant of Africans who were enslaved. And to me, wording means a lot for me, particularly coming from a granddaughter of someone who was deaf and mute. So for me, that absolutely means something. I'm not in the box with the ADOS people. I understand some because usually a person comes online and they'll be like, "Are we talking about something?" And then they'll be, "Oh, you gotta check this out, dude. See, that's that shit I'm talking about." Everybody don't sign on to stuff like that because you think it sounds like that. That's not what I'm talking about. That's not what I'm talking about. Sometimes I see people talking this shit, and then every time you see it with somebody they mate don't be us. So what the fuck are we talking about?
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Or people who talk that shit is closer to being white than they is being black. You know, so I don't understand. I think that again, it's that being that guinea pig people that I don't like. People see black folks as guinea pigs. We can just come up with anything with them. Meanwhile, I didn't see where they built no clinics, no hospitals, no stores. I'm gonna keep going back to that. Because if we're going to be in this box called ADOS, you better show me some shit ADOS has done. Besides talking all the goddamn time.
Okay.
Where's your stores? Where's your supermarket? You know what I mean? You know, where's your elder service? Like, where is all that shit at?
I get you.
You know, that's like saying if you're a Garveyite, Garvey had some shit. If you was in the nation back in the day, they had some shit.
Yeah.
Like, you have to be producing something, not just trying to make us feel emotional about slavery, but yet we ain't even did shit about it in our own immediate lives. Because I look at your life immediately. LaDonna saying something.
Okay, yeah, she did. So, self-care is so important. It's more than long baths and pedicures.
Right on. Right on.
Girl, I had to pause. It also looks like checking your cholesterol and blood pressure regularly.
You ain't never lied on
Girl,
that.
I'm going to give you a fan.
Yeah.
She need the fan.
That's right
true.
On. That is so true, sis. That is so true.
Thank you. Yeah, that's true.
Thank you for that. But I don't know. Any comments for you on ADOS?
To tell you the truth, I can't intelligently speak on it.
Okay.
I really can't. Because I don't know. So yeah, I don't know what they do, and I'm excuse my ignorance.
I do think it's a link between having someone like that and looking at our community and us not having culture that we could celebrate like we watch all those other groups do. Well, I did yesterday and at another event I went to.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, what is ADOS? What is the culture of ADOS? Or is ADOS a front for hating on other black people? Is it a game? Is it like a Crip and Blood? Like, you know, because I watch them go after, they don't go after white people. Who they do go after is Africans from the Caribbean. They go after Africans from the continent.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I see them like, you know, and I think that's when you have to go like, we're talking about Willis, because the shit don't make no sense. Like, they don't get mad at them because they come in here. They got if you're so hard educated, you know that they went through shit on their continent.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And so when I see people coming up with things to go against other black folks, that should make your eyebrows go up and be like, what you talking about, Willis? You know what I mean? Because that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's why I'm asking y'all, what do you know about ADOS?
Yeah, I don't know. Okay. I don't know anything. I really don't.
I'm going to let that go then. Presidential candidates, Kamala has dropped out of the race.
Really?
You know that?
Girl, why I didn't even know that?
That came across our feed on Tuesday with me and Barry and brother
Jermaine.
Jermaine was there and he said that just came across. What's your feelings on it? I wasn't voting for it, no way. But I kind of like Elizabeth Warren. But
I'm kind of scared.
What you scared for?
Well, not like a punk scared, but just scared like...
You said not like a punk scared. I can't stand you, name.
No, but I don't know.
Not like a punk scared, but like
well, no, because you know there's levels to fear, right? And so, no, I know. But when I say I feel a little bit fearful, is because I don't know if we really have. I know a lot of people going for Elizabeth Warren. They really like her. I like her.
Not Biden.
Biden is cool. Like, he a feel-good guy. He's familiar, right?
He's from Scranton.
And we've seen him for 8 years. years. I mean, he's
and
a
for all you
feel-good
Obama
guy.
loving people, he was with Obama.
Right, he's a feel-good guy, but I don't know. Y'all, why do I feel like this man, the current, number 45,
he gonna win again, I think.
will be number 46? Do they have
No, you just
you just stay the same number.
I think that's why they're trying to impeach him, because they can't beat him. I'm just going to be honest. Because a lot of people talk that shit about 45, but they'll go in their booth and they'll vote for his ass. And see, that's what I'm talking about, when you don't know the pulse of the people for real. Not your delusional ass, but the real. And I think they can't beat this man, so they have to impeach him. Because why did they impeach him 4 years ago or 3 years ago when his ass got in there? No, really. Gotta read that goddamn playbook. I'm just saying.
Oh my God, you guys. It is really like...
LaDonna's saying, hold on. LaDonna's saying she didn't have that automatic black vote like she thought. Bam!
That's the thing. And I think,
I agree with that.
And I think that's changing too.
Where black people ain't voting the skin tone.
Yeah, I don't think black people are voting the skin tone. Really. That's why it's really important that plan, what your plan is, what your goal is. That you need to talk on that.
And not assume that you have it.
Because people not, they're not, it's not, we're not doing that.
But I also think I'm seeing a divide between the so-called bougie black folks or gatekeeper black folks and the black folks at the so-called bottom, or just everyday black folks. And I think that they're starting to get they nigga wake up call, because just because you black don't mean you represent me. Because I'm seeing black people in the Independent Party, black people like running on independence, people in the Green Party. Jill Stein's vice president running mate was a black man. Like there's all these other parties, and some black folks wake up, smell the coffee or the tea, whichever you prefer, and they be like, I'm not going behind this person, or the Urban League, no disrespect, or they don't represent me. They ain't never did shit for me. So, because historically, those have been kind of bourgeoisie-led people. They really weren't speaking for the people, everyday, ordinary folks on the ground. They thought that they had a plan that you need to do because you need to be me. And more black people saying, I don't want to fucking be you.
Right.
I want to be me.
Yeah.
And if you don't like it, tough titty, get out of here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I ain't heard it in years.
I know, I'm just thinking
tough titty came out my mouth.
I've heard that.
I'm working on this. I feel like I've been possessed by the spirit of Millie Jackson or some shit.
Or Richard Pryor, girl. Y'all, yeah. Richard Pryor. Ooh, I love the way he would string those words together.
You're right. So
we weren't even supposed to be listening to that. But yeah.
Me? That's what I'm saying. That me either.
But, yeah. But
did you hear what LaDonna said?
LaDonna said, we made jokes about the Hunger Games, but Trump is ushering in a real class-led society.
Right on. Because that's real talk. And all I'm saying is, you'll have, I'm not saying all white people, I'm not saying that, but you'll have white people say, Donald Trump's an asshole. And then they'll walk in that booth and vote for his ass. Yeah. Because they really want that power base that he's talking about. Not the power of money, but the power of Negro getting your place. I remember, white people, they don't like it when they lose their position. Yeah. They don't like that shit at all. No, you know I ain't lying.
I know you ain't lying for sure.
You know I
can't even say nothing. I just gotta acquiesce to what you're saying.
You know I ain't lying. They don't like losing their positions. That's why they're always reenacting shit. We're gonna reenact the Civil War. Who the hell wants to reenact the Civil War?
Right. Yeah.
We're gonna reenact the Greek days when we, raped people and pillaged people, and who the hell does that?
Right, y'all. Y'all, we are in a hellified way. We in a hellified
I'm a descendant from my ancestors, so Donald Trump to me was never the worst president, because we had at least clearly 16 of them under slavery, and the rest of them that came after him, which is another 25 more, whatever, folks or whatever, 30 maybe. So I know, compared to my ancestors, I got this fool, because he ain't never determined shit for me. See, I'm like W.C. Fields. I'm betting on both sides. Because when whoever wins, I'm going to have something to do with it. I'm going to be okay. That's what W.C. Fields said.
All right, the art of war.
Yeah, he said that. You got to, we be over here putting all our eggs in one basket, and then the basket you put your eggs in, they don't even want you in their goddamn basket.
Yeah, that's true.
Because maybe you don't speak the proper English.
Oh, and I know I don't
Maybe you didn't go to the right sorority or college. Maybe you don't know how to roll your R's. I don't know. You just could never tell with black folks. Not all of us, but I'm just saying, that's what I'm saying. That's that diversity that is us. But I also know culture has a way of bonding that up. The only universal culture that I ever seen with us is, you know, the perception of something's going to happen, but we don't have to do shit to make it happen. So we're like, my president's black, but what did he give black people?
Right.
What was the axe, as my girl says?
Right. What was the right?
You know?
LaDonna says, quiet as is kept, the bougie blacks don't want to lose their perceived position either.
Bam again.
Where's that fan?
Bam
we
again.
Gonna have to, here.
Bam
again.
again.
Flyer.
Bam again, LaDonna.
Oh my God.
Bam again. I'm just saying. Bam again.
Oh my
That's all I
God,
have to
girl.
say.
All of this is a lot of truth here.
Man.
Yes.
So this presidential. So LaDonna, what's your thoughts on who's left? I feel like this is Survivor. And every couple of days, people leave the island. They get like, you know, I think my girl ran out of money. That's what she was saying on her video. Like,
oh, really?
She said that she couldn't. She's not a billionaire, so she can't fund her own campaign. I'm like, so you really thought you was up there with the other people?
Yeah.
But really, black folks didn't have her back like that. You know, her last person left and wrote a bad letter about how she treated her people. So she ain't, you know, of course she ain't gonna talk.
What did they say?
She said that she treats her people really bad. In her campaign, I don't know. I don't know if she's a disgruntled employee, but I think there's a grain of truth in everything.
You can't be trying to get in office or...
You could if you Jimmy Hoffa. But then again, they ain't never found his body. So they think he's buried under the Mirage some damn way in Vegas. Why is we laughing? No, because, you know, Jimmy Hoffa was he was the head of the unions. And this man is, but you know, when he came up missing, they still have never found Jimmy Hoffa. Maybe
he ran away.
No, they really think he's buried under one of the Mirages, like one of the Vegas casinos.
Yeah.
He's in that cement under the ground. That could be true.
Oh my God. Okay. So LaDonna said, I don't even pay attention. I'm relying on Mama Rose broadcast to inform me. Oh, that's so sweet.
I don't know. I just want to know, y'all, who y'all think. I definitely wasn't going for the sister, though. I'm just going to be like, see, my thing is, I'm saying sister because that's a part of how I was raised.
Right.
Hey, bro, hey, sis. But some of these people should not get the benefit of that.
Ooh.
If they haven't showed up for us like that.
If you can't be called sis.
Yeah, I be saying bruh, sis. I'm like, this ain't a bruh, sis. This is a, we got to have another term for when people aren't with us, but they look like us. And so y'all help me out. If y'all have a term, let me know. Because I want to come up with something like, it's like saying this person is not with us. Even though they look like us, they're not with us. We have to have another term
need to
for
come
that.
up with a
I'm
term.
just saying. Tina said something too.
Okay. So Tina says, I feel that's part of the problem. Bougie black acting as gatekeepers to let massa know who they should let in.
Bam, 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 bam. Look, you're so right. But you know what the funny part is?
I would never
the power's
get in.
home.
I would never get on.
already know they ain't got pool. This what they don't know. And you're right. But that job is the master, the so-called master. And I'm with the sister when she said the gatekeepers. But the master already know that they don't have pool. Because they really starting to realize that black people really don't have any so-called leaders. Because we'll jump up and cut your ass out like anybody else.
Right.
And I've seen that happen so many times.
Right.
So being a gatekeeper 20 years ago is not, or 20 minutes ago or whatever, ain't like being a gatekeeper now.
Right.
Ain't that a trip?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I agree with you, but their position is dwindling. You hear me? They like, there's like, we got these, that's why I love social media, because it can show you the other voices that's out there. Right. That we ain't got to be listening to this fool, because one time a person told me, I'm just going to give you a good example. God forgive me. So you know, every year we do the Benada, I get all of these certificates of recognition, and for years I've been working with this one senator, and it was a white dude who always hooked me up every year, whatever. So I guess this guy left. This old Negro, so I sent my thing in, some else. This old nigga going to tell me how I should write the letter up. I said, do you know every year this senator has been supporting the Benada with his contribution with the certificate of recognition? So tell me again your 1968 views on how I should interact with the senator when they've been supporting me every year.
Yeah.
It's like you one of them big ass computers that's bigger than this room, and I got the whole computer on this damn phone. And I'm supposed to be listening to you who's still using the big ass computer?
Yeah. Yeah, I get you. I get that.
But they were telling me like they was picking me up on game.
Yeah, or speak like this, or when you go into like that. No, people respect
respect when it shows
authenticity.
up. Yeah.
Wait, how you say
authenticity?
People respect that. I know I respect
me
it.
too.
You don't have to. Yeah, just be who you are.
I'm kind of leery when people be trying to tell you what the line is, and then you look at their track record and they ain't really did shit. Tell me again how I'm supposed to be listening to you,
right?
Because I'm gonna need to like do some research my damn self,
right?
But when he told me that, I was just like, do you know I've been working with this man for like at least 5 years?
I thought you was gonna
and
say,
the white boy,
hold
on, and then the white boy who was helping me, he looked like a scrunger, but he worked for the damn senator. Go ahead, Nick. Bro.
So Tina says, I feel that's part of the